Awesome. So we're all set. So we're ready to get started, and we hope you're just as excited as we are to talk a little bit more about the residential center, but also student involvement here at Bentley. So the residential center, for those people who are going to be living on campus, so that's all first-year students, all transfer and exchange students who will be living here. We're really excited because the residential center encompasses that, and that's what your home is going to be for your time here at Bentley. Our logo, or not our logo, but our mission is right there at the bottom of our screen, and you can see that. But we're really striving to create a great community for you all here that's both inclusive, safe, fun, and exciting. So we're really excited to talk with you a little bit more about that today. There we go. So here at Bentley, the residential center, our office is located in the student center, which is Suite 320. And housing is available for all students 365 days out of the year. That does include all the break periods, and so applications are required during that time. So just make sure you sign up if you have a need to be on campus at all times during the year. Our business hours are 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. During the weekdays during the academic year. And there is someone on duty at night. So there's an administrator on duty who's also available to you in cases of emergencies when our office is closed, and that's every hour from 4:30 till 8:30 a.m. So for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, there is someone here, an administrator at Bentley, who is here worrying about you, thinking about you, is there if you have any emergencies or if you just want to talk about anything. And then lastly, don't forget to visit our website for a list of what students need to bring and what they need to leave at home. And to be honest with you, what I like to tell students is that you should probably talk with your roommate before you get here about what you all should be bringing or what you are even thinking about bringing, because it's going to be really awkward when you both show up with two mini fridges, because one of you is going to have to carry it upstairs, and someone else, if it's already upstairs, might have to carry it back down, and that's not going to be a fun conversation to have. So have that conversation before you get here, and it'll make your move-in experience that much better. So move-in day for all first-year students is on Wednesday, August 23rd. Unless you are an athlete or participating in the Mosaic experience program, or you were invited to be a part of the Defined Communities program. For some of you, you have no idea what a defined community is, and for some of you, you're just not sure what your move-in day is. But don't worry, we're going to tell you all those things on June 26th when you get your housing assignment from us. When you get your assignment, it'll let you know, it'll say, hello, Stephanie Cohen. You will be living in Oak Hall, Slade Hall, Spruce Hall, and your move-in time is scheduled from 8 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. If you're living in Alder, Birch, Cedar, Elm, Maple, or Miller Hall, your time is scheduled from 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. And that's to make sure that we're giving you all as much attention as possible when you're moving in on those days and at that time. Like I said, if you're in the Mosaic Experience Program or in a defined community or an athlete, you'll receive a separate email that will say, this is your time to move in and this is the day that you'll be moving in. So make sure you pay attention to that email. For all of our transfer and exchange students, you'll begin moving in at 8 a.m. and you'll get a very detailed email, also with sort of a Google map that says you will follow this red line to your move-in destination and to your move-in location for you to check in. So make sure that you pay attention to those emails as they come out.
So on move-in day, one of the first groups of students that you're going to be meeting are the resident assistants, which we also call RAs. So RAs are upperclassmen students who are going to be living in your communities. They're either going to be living on your floor or they're going to be living in other places in the building, and they're really going to be a resource for you. They do a very big variety of things, but some of the things that they do is that they're going to explain and enforce policies and procedures so that you're aware of what are the rules kind of living on campus. They're going to be facilitating programs and events, so it'll be fun things that you and other people on your floor can get involved in. They'll build communities, so make sure that when you come here to Bentley, your floor and your building is really becoming a home for you. They're going to mediate any conflicts that might be coming up and really assist and be that resource for you in the first couple of days, or the first really year that you're here on campus. In addition to your RA, there's also going to be an RA on duty every night. So if anything were to come up between the hours of about 7:30 till 8 a.m. the next day, and you really need to talk to a resident assistant, you'll be able to find one of them either in the RA office, which each building will have one, or via the RA duty phone, which you'll know all this information. You'll see signage once you get to campus. In addition to the resident assistants, there are also resident directors. So resident directors are full-time professional staff members. They really oversee the day-to-day operations of the building, so making sure that everything is up to par for you and that the building is looking great, and they also supervise the RAs. In addition to that, they are also available to kind of mediate any conflicts, respond to any crises, and just make sure that the building is looking great for you and that you have everything kind of you need physically. In addition to the RA being on duty and you being able to go to them, there's also an RD on duty. So if anything were to come up overnight and you're like, I really need to speak to a professional staff member, you can most certainly reach out to your RA, who will then point you in the right direction to us. So in the residential center, there's always staff members available to kind of help you out with your transition. There are 3 halls that all the first year students will be living in. That is Slade Hall, Miller Hall, and the Trees Complex. So each of those 3 halls have pretty much the same amenities. So mixed gendered floors, laundry facilities, lounges, as well as a kitchen. So if you wanted to bake anything or make a quick meal for yourself, you're most able to do that as well. In each of those halls, we also have special defined communities, which some of you will soon learn that you're a part of, or you may just know about. So in Slade Hall, we have the Honors community, the Thrive Wellness community, and the Blueprint community. In addition, that hall also has the added bonus of having a dance studio and a racquetball court. Miller Hall houses the social justice community and the arts community, and the Trees Complex, where I'm the RD of, also houses the women's leadership community. So you'll see a little bit of those buildings once you get to campus. A great way to get involved on campus once you get here is to participate in the Residence Hall Association or Hall Council. So the Residence Hall Association is an organization that really represents and connects with all students who live on campus. So whether that be your first year or your last year, they do connect and program with all those students, so you can kind of know the gamut of all the students who are living on campus and be able to connect with those people as well. As well as in each specific building also has their own hall council. So similar to student government, which you might have been a part of in high school, hall councils will really represent and advocate for all the students that live in that particular building. There are positions from being president, treasurer, secretary, etc. And you are elected by all the students who live in your building. So it's a great way for not only you to get involved once you get on campus, but also a great way for you to learn other people who live in the building, other people across campus. And it also really is a lot of fun. So look out for more information the first week of classes. Last but not least, so in addition to the residential center having staff and things like that, we also have social media accounts. So make sure that you follow us on either our Instagram, our Facebook, or our Twitter accounts. You'll be able to see maybe pictures of some of the rooms, be able to see some of the events and programs that we do, and maybe even see a little bit about what's going on campus now.
Great, so now we're actually going to transition into getting involved here on campus. So that was a really great leeway. So as Sabrina mentioned, one of the ways you can get involved is through RHA, but we also have a number of different student clubs and organizations on campus, as well as university-sponsored events. So I'm going to go through some of the different programs that are offered through our student programs and engagement office. First, I want to start off with talking about the Student Center here on campus. Our Student Center was recently renovated back in 2015, and it's really the hub of student life here at Bentley. It literally bridges the lower and upper campus, so that's a really great way for our students to come together and meet, whether it be for dining reasons. There's different lounging spaces, there's plenty of different spaces for student organizations, as well as many different offices that house the different departments that students will be able to interact with during their time here at Bentley. So within the Student Center, as I mentioned, there's many different spaces. So I'm going to explain to you some of the different spaces that students are able to utilize here at Bentley. Many of these spaces are programmed and used for different activities from the morning all the way throughout the evening. So to start off, we have Harry's Pub, and this is a destination for our students to socialize and build community. There are many different events that are hosted in this space, mostly put on by our student organization Today and Tonight, or TNT for short, and I'll tell you a little bit more about them in a bit. But some of the different events that they posted before are pub trivia, bingo, karaoke, dance parties, and more. We also have our living room space, which offers many different varieties of soft seating space, as well as a ping pong table, a pool table, and there's many different meeting rooms off to the side that you can utilize either to hang out with friends or for study areas. In addition to that, right off the living room area, we do have a patio and fire pit, and I should also mention that we do have a fireplace right in our living room space, so it does make for a cozy environment. And in addition to that, we also have our fire pit right outside that allows for a fun outdoor interactive space for our students. In addition to that, on the second floor, we have our cultural lounge, or on technically our third floor, our cultural lounge, which is a gathering space to celebrate and enjoy cultural exchanges of ideas and social customs. It's also another great space for student orgs to meet and build community with each other. We have our business center, and our business center is staffed by students that work in the building, and they're there to help you if you need to print anything or send a fax. There's also the ability to make copies, as well as print larger posters if you're holding a student-run event or different projects that you may be working on. And again, there's always a staff member there to help you. Our bubble is really the hub for all of our recognized student organizations. We do have 100+ different student organizations, and each different room is specifically set aside for each of those groups. So our student leaders are able to come together, whether it be for a group meeting or for an event, and utilize that space. And there's many different supplies that they're able to use in preparation for the events and programs that they put on. In addition to those different spaces, as I mentioned, there are a number of different student affairs offices located on the 3rd floor of the Student Center. So those include the Center for International Students and Scholars, or CISS, the Multicultural Center, or the MCC, the Residential Center, the Office of the Dean of Student Affairs, Spiritual Life, and then again, Student Programs and Engagement. So as I mentioned earlier, our programming group called Today and Tonight, or TNT, really helps to utilize the pub space, or Harry's Pub, and they put on a number of different programs ranging from late night options as well as some other substance-free options too. So these students typically program and use the space between Wednesday through Sunday, but occasionally you will see that they put on some programs throughout the week and during the day. In addition, we do have the Arts at Bentley program, and this is designed to offer you the opportunity to create and participate in programs, classes, and performances that really help you to focus on diverse elements of arts and expression. So these can range from different cultural shows, art shows, photography classes, paint nights, and these happen both on and off campus and allow our students to really explore their creative side. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, we do have over 100 clubs and organizations here on campus. We actually have 114 to be exact, and 4 were just added this past year. So this really gives our students an opportunity to find their niche here at Bentley, and we really encourage you throughout your first few months here at Bentley, whether you're a new student coming for the first time or you're transferring from another institution, to really explore the different areas of clubs and organizations that we offer here. Some are more academic related, some have an athletic component to it, and some even get more into your artistic or creative side. So with that being said, we do cluster all of our organizations into different areas. So those include our academic, athletic, and campus, arts and media, class cabinets, our cultural, fraternity and sorority, governing, recreational, religious, and service and social and political. As I mentioned, 4 new groups were added last year. So if you take a look at the list of clubs and organizations and you see that there's something on there, or there's not anything on there that really interests you, then you are able to propose a new organization, and you can work with the Student Programs and Engagement Office to do that. In order to help you adjust and get acclimated to all the different opportunities we have here as far as getting involved, we do host an activities fair, and it's held during the first week of the semester. So once you're able to acclimate to living on campus and you start going to classes, we invite all students to come to the activities fair, and you'll get the opportunity to actually interact with and meet all of the students of these clubs and organizations. And so you'll be able to go around and chat with the students and hear about their experiences and see maybe what interests you. There is also the option for new students in our first year class to join the freshman class cabinet. There are 7 committee positions in charge of programming, advocacy for their class, community building within the first year class and beyond. And election information for this opportunity will be sent out to new students the first week or in the beginning of the semester. We do have fraternity and sorority life here at Bentley. It's home to 11 Greek organizations, so 3 sororities and 8 fraternities, all of which are active chapters and recognized by our office. They strive to create opportunities for community building, leadership, service. They are each connected to different philanthropies, and they also have different programming and social opportunities available. These organizations recruit within the 2nd semester, so if you are a first-year student, you have to wait until your 2nd semester to be able to join, but there are many opportunities throughout the first semester to get to know these different organizations and the members of the organization. So they will all be at the activities fair, and then many of them do put on events throughout the first semester as well as the beginning of the 2nd semester, so all of our new students are able to know what these organizations are about and see if they are a good fit for them. We do have commuters here at Bentley, so we want to make sure that we offer some opportunities for our commuter students as well. So many of our commuter students are active within our Commuter Student Association. There are amenities that our commuter students have access to, and they include free access to our commuter lockers, the commuter lounge, and kitchenette, so you are able to utilize that while you're on campus throughout the day for your different meals. And we also have our commuter resource board, and it's all located in La Cava. So our students are able to connect with the resource board and see all the different programs and opportunities that are going on. They do sponsor events throughout the year, so make sure to check it out if you're interested. If you are a commuter student that will be commuting to campus, it's important that you purchase a parking decal from University Police. The decals do cost $37.50 per semester, and you can find out more information about that on the Bentley University website, or you can always ask us if you have questions. Commuters are permitted to park in all general and commuter designated lots. And I should also mention that we do have a Harvard shuttle. So if you are a student that will be commuting utilizing public transportation, we do have a shuttle that runs Saturday through Sunday, and the schedules are available for all students. Throughout the academic semester, we do have a very consistent schedule that will pick up students in locations in both Waltham as well as at the Harvard shuttle stop. And then it also goes up, has a campus loop too. So if you're a student living on North Campus, the shuttle is also available for your use. And we always update our students, whether it be on a break or whether or even throughout the summer of the shuttle schedule if you need it. So to wrap up the involvement portion of the presentation, I do want to provide for you the social media accounts and information to contact Student Programs and Engagement. So you can follow the Student Programs and Engagement Office on Facebook, also on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, Bentley_SPNE. And that's where you can kind of follow along for all the different organizations and clubs on campus, as well as the different programs that the SPNE office is sponsoring. And if you want to find out some more information or more in-depth look at SPNE, you can also check out bentleyspeak.com. And so now we've come to our live Q&A portion of the presentation. So we want to invite you all, if you haven't done so already, to please send us some questions in the chat, and we'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you have at this time. And please don't feel shy. We're welcome any questions that you may have about getting involved, residential life, anything, any questions that you have as you're getting ready to join us at Bentley in August.
And if you're shy and you don't want the question to go to everyone, you could click the private button and email us or send us a message directly, and we could also answer that too.
So it looks like we have a question about when would you find out what your housing assignment is for the fall? So Antonio would be a perfect person to answer that question.
I knew that was going to be first. So you will receive your housing assignment on July 26th. So that's this Wednesday. My hope is to have it out to everyone by noon, and I know for some people, or noon Eastern Standard Time, let me be clear about that. And so if you don't get it by noon, know that I'm still working on it and diligently getting it to you, but my hope is to have it to you by noon on Wednesday, July 26th. And I just put that on a live camera, and it's being recorded, so people know that that's what I'm planning to do.
So one of the other questions that we just got as well is, which is the best first year residence hall to live in? So I would say with working in the first year residence hall, each one has its own great amenities, and I wouldn't say there's one that is the greatest. There's obviously one that's a little bit bigger, but that's really the only difference when it comes to the three residence hall. They all have pretty much the same things in terms of they all have lounge spaces that you can use. They all have laundry facilities that you can use right in the basement. They all have kitchenettes that you can use as well. So you really are getting the same experience regardless of where you live. And in addition, you'll also be living with other people that are in the first year class. So it's great to be in an environment where everyone's kind of experiencing the same thing that you are. So no greatest one. They're all, I would say, equally the great.
We got another question that says, does Bentley have an app to track things like the shuttle and the laundry machines? And we do. It's not, neither one of those are Bentley apps. They're more apps that are owned by the companies that both offer those services to us. So once you arrive on campus, you'll get an email about the shuttle. And within that email, it will include information about how to download the app. So I currently have the app because I think it would be cool to know where the shuttle is at all times, or just in case I decide to take the shuttle into work someday, I'm gonna have it just in case for that reason. And then the app for the laundry machines, we are using a company called Automated Laundry Solutions. And so we will also send you all more information about their app and what you can utilize their app for. Plus, it'll be posted in the residence halls in the laundry room how to use the system. which I think would be fun. Another question, we already answered that one, so that's okay. And she said, how are we going to know about our roommate? Was another question we received. And that information is going to also come on July 26th. So you'll get the exact same, what I said earlier, it'll say sort of, hi, Stephanie Coyne, you've been assigned to live in Oak Hall. Here's your assignment time, or your move-in time. Below that, it'll say you'll also be living with, for instance, Sabrina Cruz in this instance. And it will give you both their room number and their email address for you to begin reaching out if you hadn't already reached out.
So one of the other questions we got as well is, what happens if we do not get along with our roommate? And this is something that some of you may be worrying about, but what we talked a little bit about before about staff members that are available for you in the buildings. And I would say that they are definitely equipped and ready to talk to you about any conflicts that you may have with your roommate. In addition, you also will be filling out a roommate agreement when you get here the first couple of days. So that's a great opportunity for you and your roommate to sit down and say, this is when I like to go to sleep. This is what I would like for you not to touch of my things. You know, these are some of the things that I want you to know about how I choose to live and what I would like happening in my space. And then your roommate will also have an opportunity to do the same thing. A big thing about living with someone who you may know very little of, or maybe someone that you don't know at all, is that it's just about having open lines of communication and compromising and making sure that you both are just talking to each other, saying, hey, I would prefer this, or hey, I would like this better. So it might happen, it might not. You might get here and your roommate might be your best friend. But either way, we have staff members and a variety of other things that we have put in place to help you out if a conflict does occur.
There was a question about unisex floors and how many there are. So within the first year area, and I hope you mean single gender, so one gender living. I'll explain both. So within the first year area, we have single gendered floors and mixed gendered floors. There are 8 single gender floors until I looked that up before I came here. There are 8 that are single gender, and they all are on the ground floor of the Trees complex, and that only will hold about 50 to 70 students, and that's not enough for everyone to sort of live in that environment. So I know on the application you filled out, it asked the question of if you'd be interested in living in that type of environment. And so we did our best to try to place students there who didn't care or who really wanted to, but it isn't enough space for everyone. And so most of the floors, actually most of all of our floors at Bentley are mixed gender. And what we mean by that is that we take into account how you decide to identify and what your gender identity is. So if that's male, female, genderqueer, transgender, other, we take all of those pieces and all of that into account when placing your assignment. And it says, because we're mixed gender, we say that you don't have to live directly beside a male or a woman if you identify as a man or a woman, or if you are transgender, you can sort of live wherever you like to live, or genderqueer, wherever you want to live within the first year area, and we're not dictating that you have to live in one particular room. The awesome part about that is you find yourself sharing a floor with someone who you might not have known before. For some people, they arrived to college and they hadn't shared a floor with a woman. If you're identifying as a male, you've never shared a floor with a woman. Well, congratulations, it's going to be a fun and exciting time, and it will give you an opportunity to get to really know more about living with the opposite sex and the opposite gender. And so that's sort of what our floor plan currently looks like. And we can walk you through a little bit more of that once you get to campus, and even how to navigate those relationships. That's what your RAs are here for, to talk to you a little bit more about. Do you want to take the shuttle?
Sure. So we had a question regarding the Harvard shuttle, and if the shuttles run from Bentley to Harvard Square and back, or if they are just one way. Those shuttles are on a loop. So I did mention that we do have the campus loop, so that one will pick up different folks around campus. So if you're living on Lower, or if you live on North Campus, there are shuttles that will bring you to main campus for your classes, or for our students on Lower Campus, we do have the bridge, so it is easy to walk over if you are willing and able to. But the Harvard shuttle does, again, run on a schedule, and it is a loop. So it starts here on campus, and then it drops off in Waltham, and then again in Harvard Square, and it will pick up again. So all you have to do is check the shuttle schedule to know when you would have to be back to the shuttle to pick a shuttle back up. And once you are in Harvard Square, you are able to access the T system. So if you're not familiar with the Boston area and the public transportation offered, we do have a T, which is very similar to a subway. So you're able to get a Charlie card, and you can very easily go to many different parts of Boston utilizing the T system. And that is something that your RAs or your orientation leaders, or OLs as we call them, would be more than happy to share with you how to navigate once you arrive in Waltham and on campus.
So another question, are the forced triple rooms just double rooms suited for 3 people, or are they slightly larger to accommodate the 3rd person? So they are traditionally double bedrooms. They are larger than a traditional double bedroom, but smaller than a traditional triple. That helps to give you a little bit more context. There is enough space for one of everything. So 1 dresser, 1 desk, 1 bed, 1 closet, and 1, I said dresser, I think. So there's one of everything for each person, and it fits comfortably within the room. I would say it's more of a, I hate the word forced triple. If I could change the word, I would call it sort of a tight double, or a tight, I would say tight triple, because everything will fit, and I think it'll be fine. I think what we sometimes hear and we'll see from students is you don't know what to expect until you actually get on campus and you see it and you're moving into it. But I think if you're expecting to bring your entire bedroom to college, that's not going to be possible in any size room that we currently have. And so it's going to be really important, like we said earlier, if we look at our website and see what are some things that you should bring and what you shouldn't bring, and that if you're living in that forced triple, that all 3 of you are somewhat have communicated about what you're looking to have in your room, so that you don't have everything from each of the 3 of you in that room.
We also had a couple more questions about shuttles. So are the shuttles for students only? The shuttles are for Bentley community members to utilize, so Bentley staff, faculty, and students, or anyone with an ID. You are able to bring guests on the shuttle as long as they're accompanied by somebody with a Bentley ID. So if you have a visitor on campus, they are able to utilize that service along with you. And then we also had a question about shuttles for students to get to and from the airport. On Move-In Day, we will not have shuttles to and from the airport, but we are going to have the Falcons Far Away program, which students who qualified for that program should have received an email regarding that information. But that is a program that allows our students that are coming from far distances, so whether you're coming from a different country and joining us here on campus, or from across the country where it would take you a longer time to travel here, there are options for you to travel to campus a little bit early. But again, you were sent an email if you qualified for that program. So if you think you would qualify that program and didn't receive any information, please feel free to contact either the orientation email or the GA housing email, and we'd be more than happy to pass along that information and the different services that are going to be offered through that program.
We got another question that asks about defined communities and you having to apply for 2 of them when you were on the application. And it says, are all students assigned to one, or is it a selected program that only certain students have access to? The second part of that question is, would you be able to live in a dorm that does not house your designated community? So that's a great question. So on the application, it did ask for you to select 2 if you're interested. You could have selected not interested if you would have liked to, and we didn't place you in a defined community if you pressed not interested. And so there are 5, as Sabrina was sort of explaining earlier. And so what we tried to do was, it was a really selective process this year compared to previous years, which we're really excited about, because I think that it shows that the program is consistently growing and we're doing some really cool and amazing things within the community. Sabrina directly oversees the women's leadership community, and that program is consistently growing and getting better and better each year, which I'm really excited about, because it makes my job with placing students that much easier. And so there is a possibility for people who did not get into the program to still live in the building with the community. You could still be connected to the floor, and sort of, we like to sometimes call them like auxiliary members or adopted members of the community. And so you can still do that, but recognize that you do have your own floor with your own RA that'll also be planning their own programs. And so you could attend a program with a friend that you make on those floors, but know that you already have you'll be assigned to your own RA in your own community.
So we have a question about how the orientation groups are assigned, and I actually work with the orientation program and help to oversee all of our orientation staff. So all of our students that come to campus and are really, really excited to welcome you here. So the orientation groups are done randomly. A few of the things that we're looking at when we're selecting our orientation groups are whether you're a first-year student, a transfer student, and we also are very fortunate at Bentley to have an exchange student program. So because those students have some very different experiences here on campus, we do categorize our groups by those different designations, but within those groups we really like to mix our students in. So we do our best to look at the different housing assignments that we'll be getting from Antonio, so that we're making sure that if you are living with somebody else or with a few other roommates, we try to split folks up so that you're able to meet as many people as possible within your first few days here at Bentley. It's really important for your experience for you to get to know different people living in different buildings and involved in different areas of campus with different backgrounds. So we really take a look at get all of that information to make sure that we can create diverse groups with students coming from all different areas. Again, just looking at the transfer, exchange, and first year piece. And while you are here on campus, you will be assigned to an orientation leader, and those are upper class students that are going to help guide you through your experience on campus through those first few days. So they're going to really be a really great resource for you, helping you go through the schedule and answer any questions you have along the way, both about orientation as well as your first year here at Bentley and your Bentley experience. So you'll have the opportunity to connect with those students once you arrive.
One of the other questions was about our mail system on campus. So can students order missing supplies and have it shipped to campus? And do y'all have mailboxes? So you do. So each student is assigned a mailbox where you'll be able to get smaller letters and magazines and things like that. If you were to, or if your parents or someone else would want to ship a larger box, we do have a mailroom that you would receive an email letting you know, hey, you have a package in the mailroom. You would go to the mailroom, pick it up, and you'll be all set to go. If you ever also wanted to send anything out, so whether that be something back home, something to another friend, our mailroom also is able to help you out with that as well. So as long as it has, you've kind of figured out the cost and things like that, you'll be able to bring it to the mailroom and they'll be able to send it right out. So you don't even have to go into town to send out your mail. You can do all that right on campus.
Oh yeah, so what is the difference between the Mosaic program and the peer-to-peer program, and do you have a sign up for them as separate programs? So that is a great question. The Mosaic program is a 2-day before orientation begins, pre-orientation program for Alana students, and you also should have either got an email or something in the mail from the it's also run out of the Multicultural Center, so you should have gotten information from them about that program and how do you become a part of that program and how do you sign up for that. And if you haven't, as Steph was saying earlier, just send us an email, send the orientation office an email, and we can sort of figure out how to get you more involved in that. And that's open to everyone, and it's not just Alana students that we say yes to. I think that's a community that it is immediately targeted, but it doesn't mean that you necessarily can attend if you're like, I want to go to this program. We gladly welcome you to the program. The peer-to-peer program is where students who may participate with the Mosaic Experience program, but they might not, who might not attend the Mosaic Experience program or might attend, can still be paired with another Alana student or someone who's also just as connected to the MCC, the Multicultural Center. And we try to pair the two together so that you can have someone to talk to your first year and sort of a mentoring role that we spend a lot of time working to put the pairings together. And so yes, you do have to sign up for both of them as separate programs, because just because you attend one or a part of one doesn't mean that you want to be a part of or will attend the other. So just make sure you sign up for both if you're interested. And if you are unsure, please just email us at the orientation email address to get more information about both programs.
We did get another question about the shuttle throughout the year and getting transportation to the airport. So many of our students are joining us from many different parts of the country as well as outside of the United States. So for those students that may need to utilize a train or an airport to get back home on different breaks, the best option to probably get to the airport from campus, if you wanted to use public transportation, would be to utilize the Harvard shuttle to the T, and then the T to the airport. And the Silver Line actually takes you right to the airport. And staff members on campus, as well as our students that have to utilize those services, are more than happy to help you navigate that system. In addition to that, many of our students will utilize car share services like Uber or Lyft, as well as taxis. And I think we're probably about a half an hour to Logan Airport by car.
Well, I think that's about all the time that we have right now for live Q&A questions. If you have any more questions, our staff is going to stick around just a little bit longer to answer some more questions. So make sure you send them in the chat box or to us privately or to any of the staff that are also in the chat privately too. And we'll answer those questions for you. But we're really excited to have you at Bentley in August. So we look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great afternoon, and we will see you later. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye.